Oh wow, I've been outside, it's been very hot out there. I think I need a glass of water, or a drink of water at least. Oh yeah, that's great. Do you know how good it is when you have a drink of water? Do you know what the feeling's like? It's fantastic, isn't it, when you've got that thirstiness and all you want to do is have a drink of water. And water is fantastic. And you know, water is so important in all of our lives. If we don't have water, our lives are very, very different. My name's Michael and I work for Seqwater, the people who make sure that you get the water. Now, normally we can come out to your schools and you can come and see us at one of our dams and we can tell you all about water. Unfortunately, we can't do that at the moment, so we've decided to come to you from our own studio water, and we're going to tell you all about the things of water from here. Now, you know about water a bit, don't you? What do we use it for? Can you think of all the things we use it for? We use it for drinking, we need it for cooking, we need it for washing, we need it for washing the car, washing the dog, the plants. If I didn't have water, this little plant would be dying, it wouldn't be alive. We need water for, oh, and I forgot something. The toilet. If we didn't have water, we wouldn't be able to flush the toilet. And wouldn't that be yucky? It really would, yes. So water is so very important for all of our lives, guys. So today, what I'd like to do is I'd like to read you a story. I've got lots of things to do today, but I'd like to read you a story first. Now, the question I have to ask you, first of all, is where does water come from? What are you going to say? The sky? The ocean? The ground? The tap? Some people told me the other day, I said, where does the water come from? And they said, from the tap. And I said, well, do you know a bit more about the tap, where the water comes from before then? And they said, no. So I told them. And you know what? When the rain falls from the sky, and it doesn't rain very often these days, what's it called when it's dry? Do you know? Yes, it's called a drought. Well, when it does rain, though, the rain falls from the sky and it lands on the ground. And when it lands on the ground, that's when we collect it. The people who I work for, we collect it in great big dams. Now, it could end up in an ocean, or it could end up in a lake, or a tank, or it could end up in a puddle that you love to jump in. But we collect them in big dams. And we take the water out of the dams, and the water flows along pipes until it gets to a great big factory where we clean it up, get rid of all the dirt, because you don't want to drink dirty water. And after it's all cleaned up, we then are able to send it out to your house. And only then can you turn the tap on and the water can come out. So the story I want to read you today is called The Golden Tap. And it's about this very special tap in this very special place. Now, there was nothing very unusual about it because people used to go to the well every day, turn the tap on and out would come the water. And they'd take it home and they'd use it for all the things that they use water for. The things we talked about before, remember? We use it for cooking, for cleaning, for washing, cleaning your teeth, and for the toilet, and lots of other things. So the tap continued to flow water beautifully, and everyone would come along, and the tap would flow water out, and it was just incredible. But one day, something terrible happened. They came to the tap, and nothing happened. The tap was just dripping. And all the golden tap could say was swishy, washy, wishy, washy, whoosh, splash, drip, drip, drip. Is that enough water to give you water for things you need every day? Certainly isn't. So they were very worried. They were confused. It had never happened before. What were they going to do? They couldn't have water. The poor old fireman came along. And you know we've had big fires. And the fireman came along and he said, golden tap, give me some water. I need it to put the fires out. Well, the golden tap could only say, swishy, swashy, wishy, washy, whoosh, splash, drip, drip, drip. And is that enough water to put fires out? I don't think so. The fireman said, oh no, I can't put fires out. What am I going to do? And he went away very, very confused. The next day, some more people came to get some water. And this time it was the farmer. And the farmer said, golden tap, I need some water so that I can water the plants, I can give it to my animals, and I can do all the things that keep everything living. Because the farmers are pretty important. When you go to Coles and Woolworths and you see the vegetables and everything there, they come from the farms. And the farms need water to do all the things they do to grow. So the farmer said, I'm looking for water, please, Golden Tap. And the Golden Tap could only respond with one thing. Swishy, swashy, whooshy, washy, whoosh, splash. Drip, drip, drip. Oh no, said the farmer, what are we going to do? I've got no water for my crops, for my animals. It's going to be terrible. And he went away very, very unhappy. The next people that came along to the Golden Tap were the people who ran the shops, the cafe and the bakery. And they said, Golden Tap, please give us some water. We need it for our bread to make cordial for the kids. And we need to wash up with and wash the cafe down and do all the things we do with water. And the Golden Tap could only come up with one answer. Swishy, swashy, wishy, washy, whoosh, splash. Drip, drip, drip. Oh no, said the cook. Oh no, said the cafe lady. We're never going to be able to do the things we can do in our cafe without water. What are we going to do? And they went away very, very unhappy. Finally, the family arrived at the well and the Golden Tap. And they said, Golden Tap, can we have some water, please? Because we need it every day for the things that we do. We need it to wash, we need to cook, we need to clean, the dog needs water, we need to shower, and of course, we need to go to the toilet! And the Golden Tap could only say one thing. Swishy, swashy, wishy, washy, whoosh, splash. Drip, drip, drip. Oh no, said the family. Oh no, said Mum. Oh no, said Dad. What are we going to do? And the kids said, we can't give water to the dog. It's going to be terrible. And they went away very, very sad. The townspeople had never experienced things like this before. It was unusual. It wasn't usual. It was something that was strange. They had no water coming from their special Golden Tap. Just then the mayor arrived, the boss man of the town, and he said, hey people, what's the problem? Well, he shouldn't have asked that, because the fireman said, I've got no water to put my fires out. The farmer said, I can't feed water to my animals, and I can't grow the crops. There's going to be no food for the people in the shops. And the cafe people said, well, we can't have water for all the things we need. We can't wash up, we can't make bread, we can't do all the things that need water. And the family said, we can't have showers, we can't clean ourselves. And the kids said, and we can't go to the toilet. Oh, they were all so upset. And the mayor said, whoa, just wait a minute. And they started scratching their head, because they were very confused about what they were going to do. As I said, this situation had never, ever happened before. They had no water coming from their wonderful Golden Tap. Just then, into the village came a wise person. Can you see them there? The wise person came in. He's got a big long beard. He might have done this to it. He might have been saying, oh. And so he said, he came in where all the people were complaining, and he said, people, what's the problem? Well, again, he shouldn't have asked that, because the fireman said, I've got no water to put the fires out. The farmer said, oh, goodness gracious me, how will I feed my animals and water the plants so they can grow to provide food? And the cafe people said, we can't make anything without water. Coffee, tea, drinks, make bread. We can't wash up, we can't clean the shop. And the family said, we can't shower. We can't wash the car. We can't water the plants. We can't clean our teeth at night. And the kids said, and we can't go to the toilet. Oh, the whole place was just in a bit of uproar, and people were worried and worried and worried. And the old man, the wise man, said, woo, hold it. And they said to him, what do you mean? This is serious. We've run out of water. And he said, do you know where your water comes from? And they were very clever. And they said, from the tap. And he said, really? And they said, yes, it comes from the tap every day when we ask it for the water comes out. And he said, no, it doesn't come from the tap. Follow me. So just then they all followed him, and the wise man took them to a very special place outside the village. And when they went outside the village, they came across this beautiful, beautiful lake. And in the lake, they could see a lot of water. And the wise man said, well, you know what? This is where your water comes from. And they said, no, it doesn't come from here. We know it comes from the tap. And he said, yes, it does. It comes from here. He said, you know when it rains? When it rains, the water falls down and races across the mountains and streams and ends up in this very lake. And they started looking. And he said, when it rains a lot, the lake's full. But when it doesn't rain much, there's not much water in the lake. And then we have a drought. And he said to them, you know what? We're in a bit of a drought now. And that's why the Golden Tap can't give you water. And all the people started thinking. They were thinking amazing things, and they raced back to the village. They raced right back to the village and stood beside the Golden Tap. And they said, Golden Tap, we know where the water comes from finally. The wise man showed us the lake. We know that when there's a lot of rain, the lake's full. But when it's not, it's a drought time. And we've got to be more careful with the water then, so that there's plenty of water still that can come out of the tap. So the fireman said, I'm going to be very careful with water. I'm not going to use it too much. I'm going to only use it on fires and not waste it. And the farmer said, I'm going to make some special troughs or containers to put my water in for the animals. And I'm also going to water the plants in the morning and the afternoon when it's cool, so the water doesn't evaporate too much. And the cafe people said, oh, we're going to do some great things. We're going to keep water in the sink, and we're going to wash in there, and we're not just going to let the water run down the sink, and we're not going to just pour water everywhere and waste it. We're going to look after it. And the family, they said, we can do so many things. We can have special showers that are only 4 minutes long. We can also make sure that when we clean our teeth, we turn the tap off instead of letting it run. When we wash the dog, we can use a bucket. When we wash the car, we can use a bucket also. And when we go to the toilet, we can use the half flush instead of the full flush. And just then, there started to be a sound. And it was the Golden Tap. And the Golden Tap was going swishy, swashy, wishy, washy, whoosh, splash. And instead of just dripping, there was a gurgle, bubble, gurgle, gurgle, and the tap started flowing again. And the Golden Tap was happy, because the Golden Tap knew that the people of the village had found out how to look after water and make sure that they had enough for the future. Now, do you reckon that was a great story? I do. I think it was fantastic. There's lots of messages in there. We need to look after water a lot. We need to make sure that we understand where it comes from. We don't waste it. And it's so very important because it's everything that we do. And oh, look, I think I need another drink of water. I'm very hot after reading that story again. Now, look, I'm going to come back in a little minute and show you something else. Behind me, I've got something called the water wall. And I'm going to hope that we might be able to make one of those. And while you're at home, you might be able to make one as well. And I'll tell you how to make it when I come back. So you think about the story. I'll have my drink of water and we'll see you again soon. I love water. It is fantastic. It's so wet and it's delicious. Oh, well, I hope that you had some thoughts about what that lovely story was about. I'm going to have another drink of water now because I've really been enjoying it. What's the word when you need water? Thirsty. Yes, I'm thirsty when I need some water. Okay, well, now look, I think you can do this at home. It's a really easy thing to do. It's called the water wall. And I reckon we can all make one. Now, it's made up of a whole lot of bits and pieces. You might be able to go get some pipes. And a lot of this you might have around house at home. You might have some old pipes. And you might have a few pots. And all you need is something at the back. And Mum and Dad will be able to find something for you to be able to do this, I'm sure. A few pots and things. Tie them on. And what we're doing is here, we are understanding where the water comes from. So we know it comes from the sky. But if you have a look, I'm going to pretend that this is the rain, okay? Now I'm going to pour it in here. Now watch. Watch what happens. Oh, look at that. the water's dripping down and pouring down. And it's drawing down. Now, so when it rains, the water comes from the sky. It rains. It falls into maybe a dam. And then it might go into a treatment plant and a reservoir and finally to your house. But you can actually make this very, very easily by having the pipes, connecting them all up, and you can actually make sure that you've got water flowing. Even if I put it in this one, look at this one up here. Wow. And the water's flowing down, oh, into a pipe down the bottom. And this one here, where's this one go, I wonder? Let's have a look. What's going into here? Oh, there it is. It's coming out through there. And can you hear it dripping? I love that sound of water dripping, especially when it drips at night. When it's raining, you know, when it's raining, you can hear the water dripping on the roof at home or dripping down. It's a beautiful sound, dripping of the water. Fantastic. So you might be able to make this at home. It's really, really easy. So find something for the back, and you might have a bit of old fence at home, or you might even have a fence that Mum and Dad could actually put these old things onto. And I've just gone and got some old pot plants and stuck them on, put a hole in them, and I can use water flowing through them. I'll connect them with a hole in a pipe. You might be able to make your own water wall at home by connecting a whole lot of pipes, running them through, and see where you can get the water to flow. It'd be fantastic. So maybe when you're doing nothing at home, ask Mum and Dad to come and help you, or an older brother or sister. Find something, find the bits and pieces that go with it, and make your own water wall where we can have the water flowing through a whole lot of pipes and things all the way through. Fantastic, I love it. Okay guys, well, I look forward to seeing that. Send me some photographs if you've got some. education@seqwater.com.au. Send us some photos of your water wall, or some of you might even like to draw pictures of the Golden Tap and send them to me. Education@seqwater.com.au. Ask Mum and Dad to help you. My name's Michael, SEQ Water. This is Studio Water, and we look forward to talking to you again soon. Take care.